So, good morning, everybody. Am I audible to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, my dear lovely boys,
Yes, sir.
I am very, very happy that most of the boys are just submitting the assignment at the same time. Most of the boys are giving the test also with sincerity. At the same time, they are showing the interest, and many of you have just sent the queries also regarding one or two questions in the previous assignment. If you go through your mobiles, I have already sent in on the class group the solution of the two questions, question 8 and question number 10 on the topic proportion. Okay, most of the boys have just sent the request to send the solution of this, and I have already sent the solution on your class groups. Okay, like question number 8. Actually, in fact, nobody was able to proceed with these two questions, and rest of the questions have mostly 99% boys have done, but in these two questions, boys have faced difficulty. So, in question number 8, like A, B, C, D are in continued proportion, then prove that, and after that it is already given what you have to prove, like A minus B upon C plus A minus C upon B whole square minus D minus B upon C plus D minus C upon B whole square is equal to A minus B whole square into 1 upon C square minus 1 upon B square. So in this question, because it is already given that A, B, C, D are in continued proportion, so I have applied K method over here. I have assumed when A, B, C, D are in continued proportion, that means A upon B is equal to B upon C is equal to C upon D, and I have assumed all these equal ratios equal to K. Then A equating the first and the last, A upon B is equal to K, we will get A is equal to BK. Similarly, B is equal to CK and C is equal to DK. So now starting from the last, C is equal to DK. We will substitute this value of C in B is equal to CK. So we will get B is equal to DK square. And similarly, substituting this value of B in the first one, A is equal to BK. In place of B, we will write this value. Then we will get the value of A is equal to DK cube. That means we have got the value of A, B, and C in terms of D and K. Now, making use of this, I have started from the left hand side. Okay, A minus B upon C, wherever A, B, C are coming, I have substituted their value like A minus B. So I have written DK cube minus DK square, and C is already DK in the denominator. Similarly, for the other term, second term, A minus C, I have written DK cube minus DK upon DK square because B is equal to DK square, and whole square is already there. And similarly, for the second bracket also, I have written the value of wherever A, B, C are coming, I have substituted their value. Then in the first bracket, in the next step, D I can take common, okay, and I have cancelled D everywhere. Okay, I have already cancelled D everywhere. Are you able to understand what I am saying? Yes, boys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, after this, what is left? Because it is written K cube minus K square upon K. So I have, because K is the common denominator, that means it can be written as K cube upon K, which will give you K square minus K square upon K, that will give you K only. So I have written in that form, and similarly for the other bracket also, K cube minus K upon K square. So K square is the common LCM of both the terms. So K cube upon K square will give you simply K, and minus K upon K square will give you 1 upon K, and whole square is already there. And similarly, I have proceeded for the other next bracket also. Okay. So if you see carefully, minus K and plus K will be cancelled in the first bracket, and in the second bracket, 1 upon K and minus 1 upon K will be cancelled. So it will be in the shape k square minus 1 upon k whole square minus 1 upon k square minus k whole square. So when you will solve, you can write it as k cube minus 1 upon k whole square minus 1 minus k cube upon k square whole square. Whole square is already there. Now that means we can write k cube minus 1 upon k whole square, as the first bracket is already same, and in the second bracket I have just interchanged the position of, instead of 1 minus k cube I have written k cube minus 1 whole square, because we can interchange the position because it is in the form of what? Perfect square, like a minus b whole square or b minus a whole square are same. I have done it so that I can take the term k cube minus 1 common. So k cube minus 1 whole square I have taken common in the next step, and in the bracket what is left? 1 upon k square minus 1 upon k raised to power 4. Okay. Now it is clear to everybody till this step, boys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us start from the right hand side, because in K method we have to take both the sides. So a minus d whole square into 1 upon c square minus b square. I have just substituted the value of a, b and c. Like a is dk cube minus d is already over here whole square minus 1 upon value of c was what? dk. So c square will be d square k square minus 1 upon b square. It will be 1 upon d square k raised to power 4. Now I have proceeded and shown the working sidewise. Okay, that d square, if you take d square common in the first bracket, because it is dk cube minus d whole square, so I have taken out d square common. What will be left? K square minus k cube minus 1 whole square will be left outside inside. Okay, and into in the second bracket, what I can take common? D square, 1 upon d square I can take common. So what will be left? 1 upon k square minus 1 upon k raised to power 4. So d square and d square will be cancelled, and what is left? K cube minus 1 whole square into 1 upon k square minus 1 upon k raised to power 4. And if you go through, this was equal to what? Left hand side, which we have solved. That k cube minus 1 whole square into 1 upon k square minus 1 upon k raised to power 4. That means LHS and RHS both are equal, and hence this sum is proved. Have you understood properly?
Yes, sir.
If there is any confusion, okay, then you can ask. Now, question number 10. Many boys are still coming. Okay, please be on time. Now question number 10, if you go through question number 10, in fact I think nobody has done it, so I have sent the solution of this also. If a square minus bc upon x is equal to b square minus ca upon y is equal to c square minus ab upon z, then you have to prove that a is equal to b is equal to c, or a plus b plus c into x plus y plus z is equal to ax plus by plus cz. This was a little tricky. How you can proceed? Because these three ratios are equal, and in the beginning when I started with the topic, I taught you the property that if any 3 or 4 ratios are given in the form of proportion, then each ratio is equal to sum of their antecedent upon sum of their consequent. So I have applied the same property over here. Each ratio is equal to, I have added the numerators, I have added the denominators, and finally I have written the solution like a square minus bc plus b square minus ca plus c square minus ab. I have written separately, okay, as a square plus b square plus c square. I have taken out these terms separately, and minus ab minus bc minus ca upon x plus y plus z. This is the first result which we have got. Now again the same ratios I have taken. Like what was the ratio? A square minus bc upon x is equal to b square minus ca upon y is equal to c square minus ab upon z. Now over here, I have multiplied the first ratio, both numerator and denominator, by a. Second ratio, I have multiplied both numerator and denominator by b. So it will not make any difference on the ratios also, because if you are multiplying and dividing by the same quantity, it will not make any difference. And similarly, the third ratio by c upon c. Now in this case, again they are in the form of a upon b is equal to c upon d is equal to e upon f. That means again the sum of each ratio is the same. So sum of then each ratio will be equal to what? Sum of their antecedent upon sum of their consequent. So sum of the antecedent means the first numerator is what? A cube, a into a square minus bc, and denominator is what? Ax. So similarly, when you will add a into a square minus bc plus b into b square minus ca plus c into c square minus ab upon ax was the first denominator plus by plus cz, and then when you will proceed, you will come to the stage a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc upon ax plus by plus cz. Now each ratio will be equal to what? You have learned about this formula in class 9, that a cube plus b cube plus c cube minus 3abc. It is equal to a plus b plus c into a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca upon ax plus by plus cz. Because this formula you have read in class 9th in the topic expansion. Okay, if you remember. And both are representing the same ratio. Each ratio, like I have written the result number 1, that was also the ratio of the given ratios, and this second ratio, when I have multiplied the separate ratios, like the first ratio by a upon a, b upon b, c upon c, it is also the same. So both the ratios are representing the same. That means 1 is equal to result number 1 and 2 are equal, as they are representing the same equal ratios. So what I have done, I have equated them. And what was the first? First one? That a square plus b square plus c square. If you go through the first result, I have written a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca upon x plus y plus z. And from the second result, each ratio was coming as a plus b plus c into a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca upon ax plus by plus cz. So if a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca, suppose it is not equal to 0, then they can be cancelled also. Then they can be cancelled. Okay, like ax is equal to ay, so we can cancel a and a. So in the similar manner, we have cancelled these two terms in the numerator. What is left now? 1 upon x plus y plus z is equal to a plus b plus c upon ax plus by plus cz. Now when you will do the cross multiplication, then you will get ax plus by plus cz is equal to a plus b plus c into x plus y plus z. And if you go through at the top, this was what we were requiring to prove. Okay, that a plus b plus c into x plus y plus z equals to ax plus by plus cz. So this result is proved. Okay, but under which condition? That a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca is not equal to 0. Now the second case occurs that if a square plus b square plus c square minus ab minus bc minus ca equal to 0, then what can you write? That a square minus 2ab. I have written the term. Okay, I have written the term. So I have multiplied this whole equation by what? 2, both the sides. So it will be 2a square plus 2b square plus 2c square minus 2ab minus 2bc minus 2a ac. Okay, just to make a perfect square. And it will not make any difference if you multiply both the sides by 2. So I have written the terms separately, like 2a square I have split it as a square plus a square and adjusted accordingly, according to 2ab side, like the first term is 2ab. So I have written a square minus 2ab plus b square minus 2bc plus c square minus 2ac plus a square. If you see carefully, minus 2ab minus 2bc minus 2ac are already there, and if you add a square plus a square, it will give you 2 square, and b square plus b square will give you 2b square, and c square plus c square will give you 2c square. So the first bracket will take the shape of a minus b whole square plus b minus c whole square plus c minus a whole square equal to 0. And now, because the sum of these three perfect square equal to 0, like I have written sidewise also, in case if suppose written x square plus y square plus z square, it is the case of the three squares, sum of the three squares. So it is possible only in one condition, that all the three perfect squares should be equal to 0, because 0 plus 0 plus 0 equal to 0. So x square is equal to 0, and y square is equal to 0, and z square is equal to 0. Okay, so I have equated a minus b equal to 0, because a minus b whole square is equal to 0. That means a minus b equal to 0, and b minus c equal to 0, and c minus a equal to 0. That is, from the first result, a is equal to b, and b is equal to c, and c is equal to a. And if I equate all the three, then a is equal to b is equal to c. And this is the proof, okay, of the first result. Okay, so this sum was a little tricky, but you should do the practice of these type of sums also, and that's why I have sent this solution on the class groups also. Okay, is it clear to everybody?
Yes, sir.
Any confusion, boys?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now, let us start with a new topic, that is the remainder and factor theorem. Okay. And today you have to do the practice of the sums related to it also. And one thing I have forgotten, just I want to congratulate to the boys, those who have participated in the test. And yesterday there was one mistake. Actually, the boy who came second in that group, Kshitiz Srivastava, by mistake, its section was written wrong, 10C. Actually, that fellow has sent me the Kshitiz has sent me the message that, sir, I am in 10B. Okay, and then when I verified, he is in 10B, and one of my most favorite students also. Okay, in fact, all of you are my favorite students. Okay, so just a minute. Yes, Shivansh Manohar has sent, sir, as these questions are very much time taking, can they come in the exam? Okay, they might come, beta. They might come, because questions are meant like they can give in the marking of 6 marks also. They can give you the question of 4 marks also. Okay, so you should be ready from all the angles. That's why I have given you the easy one also. I have given you the tough one also. But basically, the question which I have given you, you can do the practice. Okay, from your textbook, you will get all type, but I have given you the type of questions which are generally asked in the exam, including the toughest one also. This was of the toughest level. That's why I have given you. Okay, and the easy one you can easily do. Okay, and most of the boys have already done, except these two questions. The rest of the boys have done. Among all the questions, among all the 12 questions, everybody has shown the correct working of the 10 questions. And these two were not able, many boys were not able to proceed. That's why I sent the solution. Okay. Now let us start with the topic remainder and factor theorem. Okay. So before starting with this topic remainder and factor theorem, I just want to say that the base of this topic is written in the name of the topic. And before starting, I just want to brush up about few concepts like rational integral function, which many of you have forgotten. What is meant by rational integral function? A polynomial in x, okay? A polynomial in x or any other variable. In place of x, you can write p. In place of x, you can write q also, in like y also or z also, in which no term contains a fractional power of x, okay, or a negative power of x. fractional power of x or negative power of x, in which no term contains a fractional power of x or negative power of x, is called a rational integral function of x and is denoted by fx or qx. Like if I write the polynomial, it is not an equation, it is a simple polynomial. So 2x cube plus 7x square minus x plus 4. So what is the variable over here? X. So, or I have written 3x raised to 4 minus 5x cube plus 2x plus 1. Okay, these two are the example of rational integral function of x, because if you go through the power of x are positive. Okay, like in the first case also and in the second case also, all the powers are positive. They are not in the form of fraction or they are not negative. So they can be expressed as function of x because variable is x. So fx is equal to, like I have written for the first case, fx is equal to 2x cube plus 7x square minus x plus 4. Okay, and qx is equal to 3x raised to 4 minus 2x square, okay, minus 5x cube plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so these two are the function of x. You can represent, because they are the function of x, so I have represented as fx and qx. But in case if I take suppose another example, I have written a polynomial 2x raised to power 3 by 2 minus 7x square minus x plus 3. So what is the power of x over here? In the form of fraction. Or if I write 3x cube minus 2x square plus 7 upon x minus 4. So 7 upon x can be written as 7x raised to power minus 1. If you bring x in the numerator, it will be taking the power of x will be negative, that is minus 1. So they are not the rational integral function as they contain fractional power or negative power of x. Okay, so I have written in the beginning only that rational integral function, okay, is a polynomial in x which contain no terms as a fractional power of x or negative power of x. These type of polynomials are called rational integral function of x, and they are represented by fx or qx. Okay, now why I have taught you? Because our remainder theorem and factor theorem are simply based on those type of polynomials which are rational integral function. Okay, now value of function like the value of function fx for x is equal to a is denoted by f of a. Like if you substitute in place of x a, then it is represented by fa, and it is obtained by putting x is equal to a in the polynomial. Like fx is equal to 3x raised to 4 minus 5x cube plus 2x plus 1. Okay, so f of 2 will be what? You have to replace x by 2. Okay, then it is equal to 3 into 2 raised to 4. In place of x, you have to simply substitute the value 2, and when you will solve, you will get f of 2 as 13. Or suppose if I want to get the value of f of minus 1, that means I have to replace x by minus 1. So I will substitute on the right hand side in place of x, what I will write? Minus 1, and I will get the result as 7. Okay, so value of function is the same. Okay, like whatever value of x you are equating, when you will substitute, you will get the value of function at that point. Okay, now let us start remainder theorem. Now what remainder theorem says, basically, first of all go through, okay, the complicated statement and then try to understand. It is so easy. Remainder theorem, if a rational integral function of x, I have already explained to you, say fx, be divided by x minus a. Okay, like I have shown the working, okay, over here, okay, over here, like fx, if a rational integral function of a function of x, say fx, when divided by x minus a, you will get some quotient and you will get some remainder. Okay, so fx when divided by x minus a, you will get some quotient, you will get some remainder, and you have read this property that dividend, what is fx over here? Dividend. And what is x minus a? Divisor. And q is already representing the quotient and r is representing the remainder. So like if I take the example 7 divided by 2, quotient will be 3 and remainder will be 1. So you can write 7 is equal to 2 into 3 plus 1. Similarly, okay, dividend over here fx is equal to x minus a into q plus r. X minus a is what? Divisor, and q is quotient and r is remainder. Okay, so what now come to the statement of the theorem that if a rational integral function of x when divided by x minus a, the remainder is the same as the original expression with a put in place of x, you will get the value of remainder directly without actually dividing if you replace x by a. And how you are replacing x by a? Because when I'm dividing this fx by x minus a, okay, that means if I consider, suppose what is the mindset that x minus a might be the factor of this fx, of this polynomial. So x minus a is the factor, like when you have done the factorization, like and in the quadratic equations also, when you have done like x minus a into x minus b equal to 0, then you have equated both the values equal to 0 and you have got the value of x as a and b. So over here I am considering this x minus a as the factor of fx. So I will equate x minus a equal to 0. That means I will substitute in place of x. What is the value? X is equal to a. Then whatever will be the value of the function at x is equal to a, that will be equal to remainder. Without actual division, you can find the remainder directly. It will be more clear when you will when I will explain you with the help of example. Okay, but just over here you can see one thing. Let q be the quotient and r be the remainder. When the given function fx is divided by x minus a, then I have written the result, same result. Fx is equal to, fx is what? The dividend is equal to x minus a is divisor into quotient plus remainder. Now what I have done? X is equal to a. From where I have got x is equal to a? Because I was dividing this function fx by x minus a. So I have equated x minus a equal to 0. I have got x is equal to a. Okay. And when you will substitute this value of x as a in the given function, that is fx, in place of x you will write fa. So it will be on the right hand side also a minus a into quotient plus remainder. In place of x you have written x is equal to a. So fa minus a is 0. So 0 into quotient will be 0. So fa is equal to r. That means remainder is equal to the value of the function at x is equal to a. Remainder is equal to fa. Okay, means you have not done the division. You have not done the division, actual division, but you have directly got the remainder. Okay, like if I take the remainder is equal to value of function at x is equal to a. Suppose if I take another example, if suppose the function in x is fx and you are dividing by ax plus b. In this case also you will get some quotient and remainder. So what you will do? You will equate ax plus b equal to 0 because you are dividing by ax plus b. So x is equal to minus b upon a. So when you will replace x by minus b upon a, and I told in the previous case that remainder is equal to value of function at x is equal to a. So over here what is x? In this case minus b upon a. So directly you will get the remainder as f of minus b upon a. That means remainder is equal to value of the function at x is equal to minus b upon a. Okay. Over here we are talking in terms of variables, so it might not be very clear. But when we will proceed with the examples, okay, then it will be clear. Okay. Now remainder and factor theorem, in fact, they are the complement of each other, and they are the same but are with a minute difference. Like in the first case, what I said, that if a rational integral function, okay, if a rational integral function of x, say fx is divided by x minus a, the remainder is the same as the original expression with a put in place of x. Over here, the statement is same but with a minute difference. Suppose if there is no remainder, that is the remainder is equal to 0. In this case only, then x minus a is a factor of fx. Like in the first case, what we were doing, that fx was the function and we were dividing it by x minus a. We were getting some quotient and we were getting some remainder. Suppose remainder is 0. Remainder is 0, then you can directly say that whatever is the divisor is a factor of fx. This is what the factor theorem says. Okay, that is factor theorem state that if any rational integral function in x vanishes means it becomes 0. When a is substituted for x, then x minus a is a factor of the expression. That is because remainder was what the value of the function at x is equal to a, and if value of function at a is equal to 0 means you have replaced x is equal to a and you got the remainder as 0, then we can say that x minus a is a factor of fx. Okay, just remember one thing, very useful, that in case you are getting the remainder 0, okay, what the factor theorem says, nobody is going to ask about the statement of these two theorems, but you have to understand one thing, that in case the divisor by suppose you are dividing any function by any divisor, and if remainder is coming 0, if remainder comes 0, that means the divisor is one of the factors of the given rational integral function. Okay, if remainder is 0, then divisor is what? The factor of the given rational integral function in x. And in case if remainder is not equal to 0, then you can make use of the remainder theorem and you can find the value of the remainder. Okay, now let us understand in a better way by some more examples. Like I've proceeded in this case only. Suppose x plus a equal to 0. Okay, you are dividing the function fx by x plus a. Instead of x minus a, if I divide it by x plus a, then in that case x plus a equal to 0 or x is equal to minus a, then you can write remainder is equal to f of minus a. And in case if f of minus a equal to 0, that is r is equal to 0, remainder is equal to 0, we can say that x plus a is a factor of fx. Okay, so in case if the divisor is dividing the dividend, okay, completely, that means the remainder is equal to 0, that means divisor is a factor of dividend, or divisor, whatever is the divisor, is the factor of the rational integral function. Now let us understand this very easily. Okay, first of all, I'm telling you the application of remainder theorem without actual division. Like question number 1 I have taken, find the remainder without actual division when the expression 3x cubed plus 5x square plus 7x minus 7 is divided by 3x minus 1. If you don't know the remainder theorem, you have to proceed, and very honestly I'm telling you, it will take too much time to divide. At the same time, many of you will not be able to proceed with the correct division also. But what is the beauty of remainder theorem? That we can make use of the remainder theorem, and without actual division we can find the remainder in this case easily. Okay, now fx, suppose because this is a polynomial in x, so I have assumed this is a function of x. So suppose fx is equal to 3x cubed plus 5x square plus 7x minus 7. So because I'm considering that 3x minus 1 as a factor, because I'm dividing this rational integral function in x by 3x minus 1, so I'm equating it equal to 0, that is x is equal to 1 upon 3. Okay, I am going to substitute this value in fx, in the above function of x. So f of 1 upon 3 is equal to 3 into 1 upon 3 whole cube plus 5 into 1 upon 3 whole square plus 7 into 1 upon 3 minus 7. So what I have done, I have just substituted the value of x as 1 upon 3 on both left hand side and right hand side. So finally, when you will solve, f of 1 upon 3 is equal to, you will get 3 into 1 upon 27 plus 5 into 1 upon 9 plus 7 upon 3 minus 7. And when you will simplify, you will get finally the value of 1 upon f of 1 upon 3, value of function at x is equal to 1 upon 3 as minus 4. And what is f of a equal to? R, according to remainder theorem. That value of function at x is equal to a is equal to remainder. So over here, our remainder will be what? Minus 4. We have not done the division. Okay, we have not done the actual division, and we have got the remainder in this case so easily by the implementation of remainder theorem. In case if anybody has doubt till now, you can ask. Yes, boys. Anybody has any doubt? I'm waiting for the response.
No, sir, no doubt.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, and in fact, I'm just telling you, this is the easiest topic among all the topics, whatever you have learned till now. This is the easiest one. Okay, because you have to just keep one thing in the mind, that in case if remainder is 0, that means the divisor is the factor of the rational integral function or dividend, and in case if that divisor is not equal, that remainder is not equal to 0, that means it is not the factor. Okay. Now let us take the second case. If x minus a is a factor of, in the first case you have to find the remainder. Now let us do the implementation of factor theorem also. If x minus a is a factor of x cube minus mx square minus 2nax plus na square. Okay, and over here a is not equal to 0. X minus a you are dividing where a is not equal to 0. Okay, then you have to prove that a is equal to m plus n, because it is already given. I have written, suppose because this is the x cube minus mx square minus 2nax plus na square, it is a function of x. So I have written it by fx. Fx is equal to, let fx is equal to x cube minus mx square minus 2nax plus na square, and you are dividing by what? X minus a. So but obviously you will get some quotient and remainder. So because x minus a is a factor of fx, it is given. That means on substituting x minus a equal to 0, that is x is equal to a, in fx the value of function at x is equal to a will be 0, because the remainder is 0, because it is already mentioned that x minus a is a factor of the given function. That means the value of function at x is equal to a will be 0. Fa is equal to 0. So what is the value of Fa? Fa is equal to a cube minus m into a square minus 2na into a plus na square. What I have done, in place of x, I have written the value a. X is equal to a. And now we already know that value of function at x is equal to a will be 0. So I have written in the left hand side Fa is equal to 0. And a cube minus a square m minus 2a square n plus a square n. So you will get finally 0 is equal to a cube minus a square m minus na square, and 0 is equal to a, we can take throughout on the right hand side a square common. So what will be left in the bracket? A square minus m minus n, and it will be 0. Okay, I've written by mistake on the right hand side also. After the expression I've written 0. So by 0 product rule, it is written in the form of a square into, a square is one term and a minus m minus n is the second term. The product of these two terms equal to 0. Okay, and by 0 product rule, which I explained you in the quadratic equation, a square is equal to 0 or a minus m minus n equal to 0. But in the question I have specified in the beginning only that a is not equal to 0. If you go through, I've written a is not equal to 0. Okay, so a square is equal to 0, we will neglect it. Okay, and we will take the second value only, a minus m minus n equal to 0. That is A is equal to m plus n. And this is what we want to prove. Okay. Have you understood properly? Any confusion?
No, sir.
If anybody has any doubt, you can ask. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. Now coming to question number 3. And boys, this type of question is asked generally in the exam. Okay. So practice these type of sums. If x cube minus 2x square plus ax plus b has a factor x plus 2 and leaves a remainder 9 when divided by x plus 1. Find the value of a and b. With these values of a and b, factorize the given polynomial completely. So it is clear that it is a clear-cut expression, rational integral function of x. So I have written let fx is equal to x cube minus 2x square plus ax plus b. And it is already saying in the question has a factor x plus 2. That means x plus 2 is the factor. That means on substituting x plus 2 equal to 0, that is x is equal to minus 2, the value of function at x is equal to minus 2 will be 0. Okay? Because x plus 2 is a factor. So I have substituted this value. Okay? That is x is equal to minus 2, and after solving minus 2 cube minus 2 into 2 square plus a into minus 2 plus b equal to 0, I have got one equation in a and b, that is b minus 2a equal to 16. Okay, is the first equation because x plus 2 is given as a factor, so I have equated f of minus 2 equal to 0. Okay, and now what the question says, and leaves a remainder 9 when divided by x plus 1. So because if fx is divided by x plus 1, remainder is 9. That means we will equate x plus 1 equal to 0, that is x is equal to minus 1. Now in this case, value of function at x is equal to minus 1 will not be 0 because it is not a factor. It is equal to 9. Okay, that is the remainder because f of a is equal to r. I told you. So in this case, when you will substitute in place of x equals to minus 1 in the given function, you will get minus 1 cube because x cube was minus 1 cube minus 2x square means minus 2 into minus 1 square plus a into minus 1 plus b. And on the right hand side it is equal to the remainder, that is 9. So when you will simplify, you will get the second equation as b minus a equals to 12. Okay. Now I have got two equations in two variables, two simple linear equations in two variables. So I will simplify. It is very, very clear. So I have subtracted the first equation from the second one. Okay. And I got the value of a as minus 4. And when we will substitute this value of a in any of the equation, like I have written this value of a equal to minus 4 in the second equation, then I have got the value of b as 8. Okay. Now, after getting these values of a and b, sometimes boys forget to read the statement in the question. Okay. You don't have to find the value of a and b only. You have to factorize the given polynomial completely. So what you will do, you will substitute these values of a and b in the given function. And what is the function? Fx is equal to 2x cube plus ax. In place of x, I have written minus 4, the value of a. Okay. And plus b. In place of b, what I have written? Value of b, that is 8. Okay. So when you will do, then in the first two terms, what is common? X square. And into x minus 2 will be left. And in the second last two terms, minus 4 is common, so x minus 2, and you can take x minus 2 as common, x square minus 4, and when you will factorize, then you will get x minus 2 into x plus 2 into x minus 2, so x minus 2 whole square into x minus 2, and that means you will get the factor of this function in x as x minus 2 whole square into x plus 2. Okay, so one more thing, sometimes it is written find the factors. Okay, find the factors of the given polynomial. So sometimes boys, what the mistake is done generally, and boys sometimes they miss the 1 mark, that they write by inserting the commas in between. Don't put the commas in between. Okay, x minus 2 whole square into x plus 2. I have not written anything. That means it is written in the form of product. Okay, so in case if you are putting comma in between, then it will be marked wrong and you can miss 1 mark. So be very, very careful. You are factorizing. Okay, is it clear to everybody?
Yes,
Any
sir.
confusion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Buddha? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. It is clear.
Okay. Now,
Yes, sir.
coming to question number 4. Using remainder theorem, factorize completely the expression this. Remember, whenever it is given using remainder theorem or sometimes it is written using the factor theorem, factorize the given expression completely. Okay, you have to substitute. You have to adopt the method of hit and trial method. It is known as hit and trial method. But just keep in your mind that you have to substitute the value of x as +1, plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, plus or minus 3. That is the maximum degree. Okay, and don't substitute any other value. Question, because it is as per the council norms also. Otherwise, in generally you can take any value. But what the council says that we will not give the sum in which x should exceed, means the value of x should exceeding plus minus 1 or plus minus 2 or plus minus 3. So just check for these values only. Okay. Now what I have done, it means like this is the question in which you have to factorize 3x cube plus 2x square minus 19x plus 6. So I have started with x is equal to 1. Okay, value of function at x is equal to 1. When I have solved, I have got f of 1 as -8, and -8 is not equal to 0. That means x is equal to 1 is not a factor because we are not getting f of 1, value of the function at x is equal to 1 as 0. It is -8. So x is equal to 1 is not a factor. Now I have written the value x is equal to 2. F of 2 is equal to 3 into 2 cube plus 2 into 2 square minus 19 into 2 plus 6. Okay. So what I have done, I have proceeded with this, and when I got f of 2, I got the result as 0. Okay. When f of 2 is equal to 0, that means what I have written, f of 2, I have got, when I have substituted x is equal to 2. Okay. And if I take this 2 in the left hand side, x minus 2 equal to 0. That means x minus 2 is a factor of fx. Okay. Now what I have done, x minus 2, because it is a factor. So what I have done, I have factorized this. I have divided the given expression. Okay. I have divided the given expression in x by x minus 2. And when I will divide in a normal manner, I will get the quotient as 3x square plus 8x minus 3. Okay. And now, if you see carefully, this quotient I have factorized separately. 3x square plus 8x minus 3. Okay. This is a simple quadratic polynomial and you can factorize it very easily. And I got the factor as x plus 3 into 3x minus 1. Okay. And now if you see carefully, one factor was what? X minus 2, which we have got in the beginning only. So the complete factors of this is 3x cube plus 2x square minus 19x plus 6 is equal to x minus 2, which we have found in the beginning. And these are the two remaining factors, x plus 3 into x minus 1. Okay. So this is one method by which you can factorize. And over here, it was already mentioned that using remainder theorem. So I have applied that. Now one more way is there, that in case after finding that x minus 2 as one of the factor. Okay. Suppose you don't know how to divide completely. Okay. Divide in a proper manner. Division, sometimes boys are not aware. So you can apply one more logic, like what is the given expression, rational integral function 3x cube plus 2x square minus 19x plus 6. What is the maximum degree of the variable? 3x cube. Cube means it is a cubic equation. So what I have done, instead of, I have written x minus 2 3 times. X minus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2 without any sign. And then I have completed the middle line after seeing the first one. Like 3x square if x minus 2 is multiplied by 3x square. What is the first two terms we will get in the middle? 3x square into x will give you 3x cube. 3x square into minus 2 will give you minus 6x square. And now, in order to get the middle term, that is 2x square in the rational integral function, in minus 6x square, what should be added? 8x square. And from where we will get 8x square? By multiplying 8x into x minus 2. 8x into x, 8x square, minus 16x. And now the third term, minus 19x. Okay, how can we get? By adding minus 3 in that and minus 3x in that. So how can we get minus 3x? By multiplying minus 3 into x minus 2. And when you will multiply minus 3 into x minus 2, okay, you will get minus 3x plus 6. Okay, and now if you see carefully, x minus 2 is common throughout. And what is left in the other bracket? 3x square plus 8x minus 3. And this is the similar case as the previous one, about which you have already found the factors. So what are the factors? X minus 2, x plus 3, and 3x minus 1. You can proceed in this way also, and or in the previous manner, whatever you feel easy. Okay? Have you understood properly? Everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
These type of sums that tries or question number 3, these type of sums are generally asked. So do the practice from your textbook also. At the same time, boys, I have given a few questions in the assignment part. Okay, and I will send the PDF. You can go through. I've given question number 1, question number 2, question number 3, question number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 11 questions I have given you. You have to try these sums and send the assignment on the Google Classroom. Okay, so that's all for today. And anybody has any doubt or any query, boys? Because I have to conduct the another class also. So in case if anybody has any doubt, you can clear the.
No, sir.
Saad Sabuddin, any confusion, beta?
No, sir.
So when
All
do we
clear.
have to submit this assignment?
You have to submit by tomorrow. Okay, today you can do complete. These are only 11 sums and these are lollipop type sums. Yeah, you can easily do. Okay, you can do. So please try and
Sir,
when
very
if
easy
you-
question.
These are very easy sums, and when you will, I will send the PDF of this on the Google Classroom also at the same time on the WhatsApp group also. Okay, now boys, you all can leave just now because I have to conduct the meeting for the other sections.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Okay,
you.
okay, beta.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.